Okay, I'd like to call to order the regular council meeting of March 8th, 2021. Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Present.
Mr. Sensi. Here. Mr. Council Magno.
Here.
Ms. Gibbons. Here. Mr. Hannon.
Present.
Mr. Harrison.
Present.
Mr. McLean. Here. Mr. Mowry.
Here.
Mr. O'Brien.
Present.
All 9 members are present. At this time, can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to turn to chair announcements. An executive session of the council was conducted on February 22nd, 2021 for police personnel issues. At this time, I would like to turn to the reports of the official and the library director's report.
Good evening. My name is Christine. I'm the director of your public library, where we provide opportunities to explore, learn, create, and connect. I want to say happy spring to everybody and to remind you that the library is open for regular operating hours. We are there from Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. until 8 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 10 a.m. until 5 p.m., and Sunday, 1 to 5 p.m. Just a reminder that the library is not offering AARP tax preparation this year. If you're looking for a location near you, you can pick up the phone and dial 211, where you will be connected to the United Way helpline. From there, you will press 7 to be put in the tax help queue, and you can leave a name and number and they'll get back to you. The library is hosting an e-resource treasure hunt for adults from mid-March till the end of March. So you'll just follow a link from the library's website or from our social media posts and answer 5 questions about the library services and resources, and you'll be entered into a drawing for a $25 gift card for South Park Shops. We ask that you submit 1 entry per person, and it's an opportunity for us to call to your attention databases, web pages, and services with which you may not already be aware. All story times and classes for youth are still being provided virtually. We do have take and make kits available in the library, which are cute little crafts for the kids. The library will be closed on Sunday, April 4th in celebration of the Easter holiday. And the library will be hosting a pop-up book sale on Sunday, April 18th from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. in the parking lot at EV's True Value Hardware. And because of quarantining issues, the library cannot accept book donations at this time. If you have some that you would like to have included in this pop-up book sale, we ask that you hold on to them until the week of the sale, and you can drop them off at EV True Value Hardware. And that is all I have this evening.
Thank you very much. At this time, can we turn to the police chief's report and Chief O'Connor?
Mayor, Council, Colonel. Good evening, everyone. Chief here. I just want to report on what's been going on around the area and how it's impacted us. As of early February until 12 noon today, 235 Bethel Park residents have reported to us that they've received debit cards in the mail, and these cards were opened without their authorization. Most of these cards have been issued by Chase Bank. So what we are not alone in this. Many South Hills communities and residents of the city of Pittsburgh have also received these cards. So there's many agencies investigating this. We here have been in contact with Chase Bank's Security Department and also the United States Secret Service. If you get one of these cards, please report it to Bethel Park Police so we can document it, and immediately cancel the card with Chase. We will continue to investigate this and hopefully bring these people to justice that are causing all this havoc around town. So, again, you get the card, call us. On a final note, I just want to make everybody, wish them have a happy and safe St. Patrick's Day. I know there's no parade again this year. It will come back, correct?
Absolutely.
I won't be there, though. I gave them up years ago. I was getting in too much trouble down there. All right, ciao.
I believe that.
Questions?
Chief,
Yes.
tell me about these cards. I don't know. Apparently, I didn't get one. I don't know what you're talking about.
There's people are getting debit cards in the mail from Chase Bank, and they did not request them.
Okay.
So that's why we believe that Chase Bank's running a promotion. You open a new account, they'll give you $200. That might be the motive behind this. So they open one in your name, and then they get a $200 reward for it, but delivered somewhere else.
They passed me by. That's fine.
Yeah. You just stay under the radar.
Thank you very much, Chief O'Connor. Can we turn to the fire chief's report?
Good evening. My name is Rob Usselman. I'm the Assistant Chief with the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company, and I have the monthly report for February 2021. We had a total number of incidents of 33, 3 structure fires, 1 cooking fire, 3 gas leaks, 4 electric conditions, 1 vehicle accident, 3 smoke conditions, 1 assist of police, 6 good intent, 10 fire alarms, and 1 CO detector. It wasn't a very busy month, and we like it that way, but we do have a few reminders as we head into spring. We know a lot of people will be out doing yard work and cleaning up debris in their yard. There is a county ordinance against what you can and cannot burn in your burn pits, and rules and regulations to follow there. If you go to our website, www.bethelparkvfc.com, there's actually a link you can click on how to burn and recreation files and how to use that. So we suggest you do that before you do any spring cleaning around your yard. Another interesting thing that's out on our website is our annual report is out for the year 2020. So if you're interested on the number of calls we went on, where the zones were, the districts, things like that, you'll be able to go out there and download the annual report for the fire department. Another big thing is this weekend we all spring forward for daylight savings. So we'd like to remind residents to change your batteries in your smoke detectors and your CO detectors, your carbon monoxide detectors, and also make sure they're functioning properly. It's a good reminder. Luckily, they put daylight savings in there just for that, so we'd like to recommend that all residents do that. And finally, we are 100% volunteer. I'm not sure how many people still realize that. So one good thing is even though we're in a COVID environment, we're always accepting new members and memberships. So if you're interested in joining or want to find out more about the fire department, Monday nights around 6:30 or 7, come down to our main station. Right here on Brightwood Road, right beside Bethel Bakery, and someone's there, and we'll give you a tour and tell you what we're all about. And we are always accepting members. So that's all I have for this evening. Are there any questions?
Any questions from council? Hearing none, thank you very much, and we'll turn to the municipal manager's report. And Mr. Christian.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I'd like to take just a couple minutes real quick and provide an update on some of the key projects. Specifically having to do with our information system, information technology upgrades that were in the 2021 budget. A couple of the big projects, actually all of the big projects, are being led by this gentleman right over here, Drew Dowdell. He is our Director of Special Projects, and he's handling these over the course of the next probably about 12 months in fruition. The first one's the IT transition project. For the most part, all of the municipal staff have been transitioned to Microsoft Office 365 and are now transitioning to Microsoft Teams. This is a collaborative suite the training was already begun to allow the staff to be a lot more collaborative in nature and also efficient and effective. Transitioning to Microsoft Office 365 will provide a host of capabilities that we have not seen previously and not had else previously. We've already begun transitioning to several on-site premises servers to these cloud-based operations and capabilities, specifically within our finance and public works departments already. So we've already seen some transition to our cloud-based servers. We're in the process of doing a data center move and also a building rewire. The building hasn't been updated about 15 to 20 years. They're still using coaxial cable throughout. Now we are getting to Cat6 cable throughout, and what that's going to provide pretty much on a magnitude of 10 factor for speed and connectivity across the board. We have a firewall takeover project. Currently, the municipality doesn't own the firewalls that it utilizes, but we're being rectified in the near future. They're also doing a printer refresh project. This project seeks to audit our current printer utilization, see how much we're actually using for printing and spending, and that will help us identify where we can do some cost savings. And then implement a commercial off-the-shelf, kind of low-cost solution for security and management utilization. Because right now, I mean, everything is susceptible to cybersecurity. I think we've probably all heard across the United States, sister communities outside and inside the Pennsylvania that have been susceptible to cyber attacks. And the majority of all of these IT projects are going to harden our internal and infrastructure to help us be more defensive in nature against these types of attacks. We have a couple of different ones that will help our community in nature. One of them specifically is our field and program management system. That's going to be done by the Recreation Department. That's going to be really beneficial for a lot of our athletic associations because that's going to allow us to schedule and maintain all of our fields, all of our programs across the board that will allow collaborative nature at the association level all the way up to both the municipal level and utilizing the school district facilities as well. The last couple of ones are ones that will take over time. Our geographic information system. This is a multi-department initiative right here. This is both in the Department of Engineering, this is Code Enforcement, Public Works. This will help across the board, both in a collaborative nature, but also as a repository for all of our paperwork. Right now, Bethel Park Municipality is a paper-based system. We are trying to go to a online web-based system that we can use these documents and access these documents anywhere, out in the field, here, and search and survey doesn't take hours to days. It takes keystrokes in seconds. That's our ultimate goal for this system. We are transitioning our document management system and a document archiving system. What this allows us to do is stay compliant with the Pennsylvania Commission on Archives, the retention and destruction standards. There's a very long book, a lengthy manual that allows and puts the retention and destruction standards out for local government municipalities. That whole system I just talked about will allow us to get to that stage. And finally, we're looking at an HRIS, a Human Resources Information System. This is potentially both a human resources and potentially a payroll upgrade to our system. We haven't quite figured out what the depth and scope is going to be. But all of these items over the next 12 plus months will help the municipality of Bethel Park become efficient, effective, it will provide more rigor in our operating system and our infrastructure and allow us to become a better organization focused on serving our residents. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Christian. At this time, can we turn to the mayor's report and Mayor Allen?
Thank you, Mr. Myers.
Looking for it.
And excuse me, if the people online, if you could mute because we're getting some feedback, please. Thank you.
Okay, I have a short report tonight, a few items. I want to mention with the weather changing, it's not too early to think about our spring cleanup. This year, that'll be April 24th. If you're interested or you have a group that may be interested, please call Janet at 412-831-6800, extension 211. And don't forget our No Cook Tuesdays. It actually starts this week, and this will be held at the community center from 4 to 7 every Tuesday, and that'll go through April 27th. And that's just in time for our award-winning farmers market That'll begin May 4th by the ice skating rink in South Park. And so far, we have 30 vendors signed up, and that'll go on through the summer into the fall. Again, I want to thank Spartan Pharmacy and the volunteers at the vaccine clinic that have been held at the community center. A great job. Mr. Meyer was there a couple weeks ago. Dr. Campbell, we can't say enough to the job that you're doing. It's just, they've had 3 so far, and it's just very smooth, and everyone's doing a great job over there. Operation Feed a Neighbor. The spring food drive will be held Saturday, March 27th from 9 to 12 at the Spencer Family YMCA by the high school. If you can drop off food, gift cards, paper products to help support our local families. I also wanted to mention a show that I do. It's called Jack of All Trades. It's on BPTV and also YouTube. We've been doing it about 6 months. We've had shows about the best breakfast in Bethel Park, the Charlie Beautification Project, the oldest homes in Bethel Park. We've also done interviews with the Skyliners and our own Mark Fieri. And the reason I bring it up is next month we will have our local state reps, including Devlin Robinson, our state senator, just to go over some of the things that they're doing in Harrisburg. And finally, just received this afternoon that Bethel Park has once again received the Banner Community Award for 2021. So thanks to our staff. I mean, it's a great accomplishment, and it's well deserved for all the work they do. And that's all that I have this evening.
Thank you very much, Mayor Allen. At this time, can we turn to the approval of the minutes and Mr. Hannan?
I move that we approve the minutes of the February 8th, 2021 regular council meeting.
Second?
There's a motion by Mr. Hannan and second by Ms. Gibbons that we approve the minutes of the February 8th, 2021 regular council meeting. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. Sensi. Yes. Mr. Consolmagno,
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons. Yes. Mr. Hannan,
Yes.
Mr. Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. McLean,
Yes.
Mr. Mowry,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. At this time, I would like to turn to the approvals of the bills and payrolls and Mr. Hannan.
I move that we approve bill list number 030821 for the amount of $1,670,511.89.
Second?
There's a motion by Mr. Hannan and second by Mr. Harrison that we approve the bills list number 030821 for the amount of $1,670,511.89. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Consolmagno,
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mr. Hannan,
Yes.
Mr. Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. McLean,
Yes.
Mr. Mowry,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. At this time, I would like to turn to the resident comment section for non-agenda items. Hearing none, if we can turn to general policy and finance and Mr. McLean, and we have no residents signed up to speak.
Thank you, Mr. President. Compensating for the 22 motions I had to make last month, I'd like to tell everyone that we have no items under general policy and finance this evening.
We do truly appreciate that, Mr. McLean, and thank you. Are there any additional items?
Mr. President,
Mr. Hannan.
I just want to update everybody on some upcoming events that we have currently going on. The COVID-19 vaccination clinics. Again, as the mayor said, I'd like to thank Spartan Pharmacy for holding the third vaccine clinic at Bethel Park Community Center this past Saturday. I'm happy to report that over 6,000 total shots have been given to date. 2,000 plus people have been fully vaccinated, and they are planning more events in the coming weeks. Stay tuned. I would encourage eligible people to register on the Spartan Pharmacy website at www.spartanpharmacy.com, and they will communicate directly with you when there are available appointments. We all appreciate the work that Spartan has done putting into hosting these events. There are a few others I'd like to acknowledge for making these events possible and run as smooth as they do. First, my colleague, Dr. Tim Campbell, for helping facilitate and work these events. All of the Bethel Park Community Center staff and our Public Works employees, and especially our Community Center Director, Kathy Moscato, who coordinated the logistics of this effort. The Bethel Park Police Department for making sure things flowed smoothly inside and outside the building, and all the volunteers that donated their time to help others, including all the medical professionals who mainly volunteered to administer the vaccines. To the casual observer, it may appear that this is a well-oiled machine, but there are countless hours that went into the planning process to make this event go as smooth as it did. I would like to also thank Lawrence Christian for all his hard work in coordinating this effort. In speaking with a medical professional, to put things in perspective, it is estimated this effort could have saved nearly 100 lives. I had the opportunity to attend this past Saturday's event and was totally amazed at how smooth things ran. In times of need, Bethel Park people come out to help no matter what the circumstances are, and that is why I'm proud to call Bethel Park my home. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hannon. Are there any additional items? Health, safety, and welfare, and Mr. O'Brien, and we have no residents signed up to speak.
Mr. Chairman, there are no items under health, safety, and welfare.
Are there any additional items?
I have one.
Mr. O'Brien.
I guess I'd like to look back. We've had our 1-year anniversary, and last month we had a milestone of over 500,000 deaths from COVID-19 across our nation. You know, what's the value of a year? Years used to flip by. I mean, I think we all have a different definition of what a year means now and how valuable it really is. And I think I have to recognize, and I'll start at the top, and this council and the mayor, we all bring some unique talents to this table, and they're very different. But during this pandemic, each council person used their talents to help do what they needed to do or what they felt comfortable to do to help this community through this pandemic, this emergency, this thing we've never really faced before. And then when you get down to the next level, you have our manager and our chief and our head of the fire department and EMS and all the employees, the policemen, the firemen, the EMS, the strain and stress that's been on them, and it's like clockwork. They don't miss a beat. They just don't. They're here to serve. They're here to protect. They're here, and they understand what needs to be done, and they do it under a great guidelines. And through the grace of God, we've made it through without a very serious lack of personnel, although it's not over. And I'd like to talk about our staff, how they've reinvented what we do here. And everyone here kind of adapted themselves to it. And then we go in our public works and all the employees of municipality. And then we go down to the next level, our businesses, our restaurants, our organizations that all have stepped up. And the people of Bethel Park, that's the volunteers wanting to help and doing it in a safe manner. You know, we turn on our TV, we click it, or we swipe, or we tap our mouse or our screen, and we see all the things that go on in the world, and we can shut it off. But until it hits, until it becomes part of your world or your family, it seems far away. Then within the blink of an eye, 1/2 a second, it's your world. And that is something we have to recognize. And I'd like tonight to honor those that we have lost from Bethel Park. The number is 53. That's more than we've lost in all our wars in Bethel Park of Bethel Park residents from the American Revolution till today. And we did that in 1 year. They're not just names, they're and faces. They're fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, grandfathers, grandmothers, and friends, maybe coworkers. People you run into at Ace and at Evie's, at Pasta 2 and at Al's. It really hits home. So I would like to offer a moment of silence for those 53 tonight. And we are on a great place. We are headed in the right direction. We still have to be cautious, and we have to understand where we came from. So, Mr. Murray, I'd like to offer a moment of silence for the 53 men and women that we've lost from Bethel Park over the past year. Thank you, Mr. Murray.
Hearing none, can we turn to planning and zoning and Ms. Gibbons?
There are no items on the agenda for planning and zoning.
Thank you, Ms. Gibbons. Are there any additional items? Hearing none, can we turn to Public Works and Maintenance in Mr. Consul Magno? We have no residents signed up to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Murray. We're voting tonight on two separate contracts, both related to the 2021 road program. The first is the actual contract for the paving, and the second contract is for the landscaping around the paving. Last year, we decided to split the contract as pavers are not good landscapers, and landscapers are not good pavers. What we learned is that we received better pricing on both, and we ended up with better service to our residents. In regards to our road program, several years ago, we were one of the first communities to contract with a company called Robotics. Robotics is a startup company out of Carnegie Mellon that actually performed a municipal-wide assessment of all our streets. They do this by videotaping all of our roads and providing an unbiased assessment. Based on this information is how we determine which streets to be paved. It was a little bit of a risk, but it utilizes state-of-the-art technology which takes out the subjectivity for our road paving program. Robotics is now used in over 250-plus communities in 34 states. And with that said, I move that we accept the low bid of $1,533,890.50 from Mealy & Mealy & Sons for the combined base bid, alternate number 1 and alternate number 2, per the Director of Engineering's memorandum dated February 17, 2021.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Consul Magno and second by Mr. Harrison that we accept the low bid of $1,533,890.50 from Mealy & Mealy & Sons for the combined base bid, alternate 1 and alternate 2, per the Director of Engineering's memorandum dated February 17, 2021. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Sensi. Yes. Mr. Consul Magno.
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. McLean. Yes. Mr. Mowry.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Mr. Consul Magno.
I move that we accept the low bid of $38,984 from Telegraphis Landscape LLC for the combined base bid, alternate number 1 and alternate number 2, per the Director of Engineering's memorandum dated February 17, 2021.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Consul Magno and second by Mr. Harrison that we accept the low bid of $38,984 from Telegraphis Landscape LLC for the combined base bid, alternate number 1, alternate number 2, per the Director of Engineering's memorandum dated February 17, 2021. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Sensi. Yes. Mr. Consolmagno.
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Mowry.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Mr. Consolmagno.
Millennium Park improvements. The project we will be voting on tonight is another step in our recreational facility upgrade plan. In 2018, we commissioned a study of all of our recreational facilities to get a better understanding of where we are and where we want to be. As part of the study, it's recommended that we realign our parks along with upgrading our facilities. It is important for two reasons. First, to align all of our major parks to meet the current and future needs of our residents, and also provide a long-term strategy that allows us to apply for grants to help offset the cost of our upgrades. The first phase of the recommended plan was to turn Village Green into Field Sport Park. With the help of the State and Soccer Association, we were able to fund a turf field, upgraded bathroom, concession stand building, new ADA playground, new pavilion, and add a walking trail. Once the Field Sports Park is completed, we are now able to turn the large field at Millennium Park into a diamond park for baseball and softball. The contract we are voting on tonight will add a small baseball field with a turf infield, upgrading bathrooms, adding a concession stand, new playground equipment, and a walking trail around the park. The total cost of this project is nearly $1 million, but because of our planning and submitting several grant applications, we were awarded around $700,000 in grants to accomplish our goal. The third step in our roadmap was the upgrading of Park Avenue fields. We announced back in January that we have received $900,000 in grants to accomplish this project. We are still in the planning stages, but this project will include a splash pad and other amenities. We are hoping to announce the final plan this fall and construction in 2022. We have all spent a lot of time, along with the Recreation Board, to develop a plan for improving our recreational facilities. The most important part of the planning, as this enables us to seek out and apply for grant money to offset our costs. I am happy to report that we have received nearly $2 million in grant money, and we are beginning our search for Step 4 grants, planning 2023 and beyond. With that said, I move that we award the base bid and alternate number 1, 2, and 4 to Pavlicek Construction in the amount of $710,682.50 for the general contracting work per the Director of Engineering's memorandum dated February 18th, 2021.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Consolmagno and second by Mr. Harrison that we award the base bid and alternates number 1, 2, and 4 to Plavchak Construction in the amount of $710,682.50 for the general contracting work per the Director of Engineering's memorandum dated February 18th, 2021. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Yes.
Mr. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Consolmagno.
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Mowry.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. And just to follow up on what Mr. Consolmagno, there are some other people in our staff, and our Director of Engineering, Stacy Graff, who spent a lot of time with the grants. They're not easy to do, making sure we got the paperwork filled out, and our state elected officials for working with us as we plan for the future of Bethel Park. Mr. Consolmagno.
Thank you, Mr. Murray. I move that we award the plumbing contract in the amount of $41,000 to Newman Plumbing per the Director of Engineering's memorandum dated February 18th, 2021.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Consul Magno, second by Mr. Harrison, that we award the plumbing contract in the amount of $41,000 to Newman Plumbing per the Director of Engineering's memorandum dated February 18th, 2021. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Consul Magno.
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Mowry.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Mr. Consul Magno.
The final motion, I move that we award the electrical contract in the amount of $33,900 to Westmoreland Electrical for the base bid and alternate per the Director of Engineering's memorandum dated February 18th, 2021.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Consul Magno and second by Mr. Harrison that we award the electrical contract in the amount of $33,900 to Westmoreland Electrical for the base bid and alternate per the Director of Engineering's memorandum dated February 18th, 2021. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Consul Magno.
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Mowry.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Mr. Consul Magno.
That is all tonight, but Mr. Murray, I would just like to thank Dr. Tim Campbell for everything that he has done for the community and setting up those centers for us for our people to be inoculated with that. It's just he spends countless hours volunteering his time over the past 3 Saturdays, and he does it on such short notice, 48 hours before you're scheduled to take the first shot and coordinate everything. He just does a fantastic job, and the volunteers, we couldn't do it without them, but he's just an outstanding individual, and I'm so happy and glad to have him sitting next to me, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Consul Magno. Are there any additional items?
Mr. President.
Mr. Hannon.
As we've discussed, we're trying to get back to a new semblance of order that we're used to, and more people are getting vaccinated, and some restrictions on the governor places on people are being reduced. I'm happy to report that Bethel Park is in the planning stages to return the fireworks to Bethel Park for the July 4th holiday. While we are still in the preliminary planning stages, and based on CDC and state guidelines permit, we would like to return to some type of normalcy. As with many things, we all need to adjust what we do and how we do it to protect ourselves and our neighbors. In the past, we had community celebration that was centralized in Millennium Park, but in 2021, the celebration will be centralized outside of Millennium Park. Our preliminary plans have us shooting off the fireworks at Millennium Park, and since we will not have activities in the park, this will enable us to shoot the fireworks higher, making them visible over a wider area. While the plans are still very preliminary, the current strategy could be to establish a number of smaller areas for people to view the fireworks. While nothing's finalized yet, our communications team will help keep everybody updated as we get closer to the event. Stay tuned for more fireworks information. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hannon. Are there any additional items?
Move we
Hearing none,
adjourn.
motion to adjourn by Mr. Hannon.
Second.
Second by Dr. Campbell. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned, and good night, everybody.